Firstpost reports from the world's second largest continent. Hello, I'm Alyson Le Grange. A very warm welcome from Durban, South Africa. We get you the news and the newsmakers from Africa. From elections to climate change to innovations and opportunities. As the world's attention shifts, we report from Africa, the heart of the global south. Join me every weekday live on Firstpost. Hello and welcome to Firstpost Africa, where we get you the top stories from the continent and from across the world. I'm Alyson Le Grange, coming to you live from Durban, South Africa. First, let's take a look at the headlines. Russian forces battle Ukrainian troops for a third straight day after they advanced through the Russian border in Kursk region in possibly the most serious incursion of the conflict. Pop star Taylor Swift's Vienna concert cancelled after authorities say they foiled an Islamic State terror attack plan. 2 suspects taken into custody. A number of airlines, including US-based United Airlines and Delta, along with Australia's Qantas, reroute flights to avoid Iranian and Lebanese airspace amid fears of an escalating conflict. World Health Organization calls an emergency meeting to assess international risk from the current Mpox outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo, with 27,000 cases. And 2 US astronauts, Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore, who blasted into space for an 8-day mission in June, may be stuck on the International Space System until next year, says NASA. Hello and welcome. Let's take a look at our top story. South Africa's national beauty pageant has gone deeper into turmoil. The controversy around one of the contestants, now a finalist, Chidimma Adetshina, is getting bigger, with South African government stepping in. Now in the latest, Chidimma Adetshina has withdrawn from the beauty pageant ahead of the Saturday final. This comes after the South African government accused the mother of the contestant of fraud and identity theft. From the moment she became a finalist in the South African beauty pageant, Chidimma Adetshina has been subjected to a torrent of online abuse and xenophobic attacks over her Nigerian heritage. Many, including South African cabinet ministers, have questioned her credentials, and the pageant organizers requested an investigation after uproar. They initially backed Adetshina, saying that she is a South African citizen by birth with a valid ID and passport and met all eligibility criteria. Now, the Home Affairs Ministry is investigating the matter. In its reports, the ministry said it has prima facie indications that Adetshina's mother might have committed fraud and stolen the identity of a South African woman after the Miss South Africa hopeful was born. The Home Affairs Ministry is now obtaining legal advice on the implications on Adetshina's citizenship, adding the contestant did not participate in the alleged unlawful actions, as she was an infant at the time. Adetshina and her mother had given their written consent to the initial probe. 23-year-old Chidimma Adetshina was born in Soweto to a Nigerian father and a mother of Mozambican descent. South Africa grants citizenship by birth to anyone born in the country after 1995, and Adetshina was born in 2001. Now Adetshina is due to compete in the Miss South Africa finals this weekend, but the anti-foreigner sentiment stoked by her participation is only intensifying as she moves closer to the crown. Now she has been witnessing heavy scrutiny, backlash over her identity, and questions about her bloodline. It has become a matter of national importance in South Africa. Her nationality has been a hot topic among politicians and celebrities, and even on TV news and radio talk shows in recent weeks. The debate intensified after a video of Adetshina surfaced showing her celebrating her success with her Nigerian relatives. This further fueled the argument by many that she was not South African enough. While many came to her defense, the others argued that she should be disqualified over her Nigerian ties. Among the loudest critics was Arts and Culture Minister Gayton McKenzie. His far-right party won 2% of the vote in the May election, where immigration was a key issue. McKenzie earlier said it would be a travesty for the country to be represented globally by someone who identifies more with Nigeria than South Africa. In recent years, South Africa has witnessed an increase in hostility toward foreigners. This is because its people are suffering due to unwavering unemployment. Despite a low economic growth, the country attracts millions of migrants, mainly from other African countries. But the latest pageant controversy has only highlighted South Africa's deep-seated history of xenophobia, particularly towards African immigrants. Now, for more on this, we are being joined by Lauren Landau, a senior researcher with the African Center for Migration and Society at the University of Witwatersrand, joining us live from Johannesburg. Thank you for being with us.
It's a pleasure.
Now, Chidimma Adetshina has received a torrent of online abuse and xenophobic attacks over her Nigerian heritage, which has led to her withdrawing from the competition. How does Adetshina's experience highlight the challenges faced by immigrants in South Africa, if we can explore the broader issues related to acceptance, citizenship, and the treatment of immigrants?
This is a complicated issue. And of course, a beauty pageant is not the most important thing going on in South Africa at the moment, but it has crystallized a series of debates among the South African people and, as you've said, among politicians over who is a South African and who should represent South Africa. What we see in this case is a very interesting one. South Africa has embraced foreign-born musicians, foreign-born sports stars as representative of the country at the highest level. But there's something about her, about the pageant, about beauty, about her having Nigerian heritage that seems to have triggered a debate over what it means to be a South African, who can be a South African. Of course, South Africa is a country of massive diversity, and these sorts of debates have always been just below the surface.
Yeah. What led to the xenophobic backlash against Chidimma during the Miss South Africa pageant in terms of the specific incidents and the social media reactions that targeted her based on her heritage?
It's hard to say what specific event triggered it, whether it was a post, whether it was a flag on her social media, or whether it has been a sort of broader set of issues over the last few years in which politicians, popular figures, etc., have made immigration a central issue. And given the symbolism of this, I think people are very sensitive to the idea that someone who is not fully South African or fully loyal to South Africa might represent the country. They said, or they showed, as you said, pictures of her celebrating, claims from her father about when he was here. There's been questions about her parentage. But I think to some extent, it's not really about what she did or about anything that she has represented particularly. It's more that people are putting on her all of these debates over what it means to be a South African and to try to assert a certain type of definition for what it means.
Right. And what steps, in your view, can be taken to promote unity, inclusivity, and human rights within the pageant and South Africa as a whole? What practical solutions are there to combat xenophobia with a view to the importance of celebrating diversity and a multicultural identity?
Right. At the pageant level, it's disappointing that while the pageant organizers at first embraced her and defended her, and I think would have allowed her to continue to compete, We didn't see a certain outpouring from politicians. We did to some extent from celebrities saying, look, South Africa is a diverse country. She was born here. She has citizenship, and we need to celebrate this. We've had Miss South Africas who are white, Miss South Africas who are Indian, Miss South Africas who are mixed race. This is just part of what it means to be South African. At a broader level, I think there is a need for a kind of family meeting over this. We have, as you mentioned, a minister whose last name is Scottish, accusing her of not being South African enough, and to ask questions about what does it take to become a South African? How do we talk about where we're from, how we manage this diversity? Those discussions have been ongoing, but clearly we need to have a better and more inclusive debate.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for being with us on Firstpost Africa and for your very valued insights on this latest story. Shifting focus to the Democratic Republic of Congo, the president of the conflict-hit nation, Felix Tshisekedi, has warned of a rebellion from his predecessor. Now, Tshisekedi has accused the former Democratic Republic of Congo president, Joseph Kabila, of preparing an insurrection and of belonging to an armed rebel movement called the Alliance Fleuve Congo, or the AFC. It is a political military coalition that seeks to overthrow the DRC government. It was formed in December last year by Corneille Nangaa, the former chairman of the DRC's Electoral Commission. A principal member of the AFC is the March 23 or the M23 movement. It is an ethnic Tutsi-led rebellion that has waged an insurgency in the eastern DRC and has occupied significant areas. In an interview, President Tshisekedi has accused Joseph Kabila of being part of the AFC. Joseph Kabila came to power in 2001 following the assassination of his father. He stayed as the Democratic Republic of Congo president for the next 18 years until he agreed to step down and handed over power to his rival Felix Tshisekedi as a part of an agreement. Now, Tshisekedi and his party got the presidency, but Kabila dominated the parliament and the provincial governorship. It marked the first peaceful transfer of power in the DRC since independence in 1960. But this deal did not last long, and in 2020, Tshisekedi ended the alliance. He had already challenged Kabila's dominance with his appointments to the Constitutional Court and the Electoral Commission. His party had also overthrown Kabila's party's majority in parliament. Since then, Joseph Kabila has kept a low profile, and now he has been accused by the president of planning a revolt. Several members of Kabila's party had also joined the AFC. They are awaiting the verdict of a military court in the capital of Kinshasa, where they could face the death penalty, and a crackdown on Kabila is already underway. The headquarters of his foundation was searched by military intelligence in March of this year. In December, general elections were held in the DRC, but were boycotted by the Kabila camp. Tshisekedi was re-elected with over 73% of the vote. However, the opposition claimed that it was marred by a multitude of irregularities. Moving on to the Comoros in East Africa. Comoros President Azali Assoumani has granted new powers to his son, which critics say makes him the de facto president. The latest move by the president has raised concerns over him allegedly trying to consolidate his family's grip over the island nation. President Assoumani's 40-year-old son, Nur Azali, was appointed Secretary General of the government in July. And now he is being granted new powers that require all decrees issued by ministers and governors to be approved by him before they are officially published and enacted. Opposition says that this gives Al-Fat presidential constitutional rights that resemble monarchical rather than democratic practices. Experts say that the step also further expands Azali Assoumani's authority. However, a government lawyer has said that the decree was merely a structural reform that formalizes the role of the Secretary-General as coordinator of government affairs. Now, the Comoros is a group of 3 islands in the Indian Ocean. As per constitutional reforms in 2018, the presidency needs to rotate among the 3 main islands from every 5 to 10 years. Now, this makes Al-Fat ineligible to replace his father at the end of the presidential term in 2029. The new powers also mean that decrees issued by the governors of all 3 islands must be approved by the Secretary-General. The small island nation of the Comoros has witnessed around 20 coups or attempted coups since gaining independence from France in 1975. Assoumani first came to power in 1999 through a coup. He has won 4 elections since 2002. He was re-elected as president in January after a disputed election. That was followed by 2 days of deadly protests. Assoumani has been accused of growing authoritarianism under his rule. And finally, to our special segment, Resurgent Africa. Amid the coups and the crises, there are many positive stories from Africa that often get overlooked, but not on this show. Algerian boxer Imane Khelif is one step closer to clinching gold in boxing at the Paris Olympics. Despite the heated gender controversy, Khelif has stood tall and strong. She has battled not just her opponents, but also prejudice and misconceptions. Our final report gets you all the details on Khelif's struggle and her chance at making history.
As the ongoing Olympics unfold, the world's gaze is fixated not just on the athletic prowess and fierce competition, but also on the story of Imane Khelif, an Algerian boxer. Khelif's journey to the ring has been fraught with unexpected turmoil and controversy. She will now face China's Liu Yang in the women's 66kg finals on August 9th for the Olympic gold medal. She's also the first Algerian woman to achieve this feat. But it was not as easy as it sounds. Her story transcends the boundaries of sport. It's also about societal issues and personal triumph. 24-year-old Imane Khelif is from the bustling city of Algiers. She has been nothing less than a beacon of hope for Algerian sports. She started training as a boxer at around 18 years of age. However, her career as a boxer quickly soared as she gained numerous national titles and accolades. Her tactical style in the ring, coupled with her relentless spirit, earned her a spot on the Algerian Olympic team. Khelif's qualification was celebrated across Algeria, along with just one expectation: to bring back a gold medal. However, as the Olympics commenced, Khelif found herself ensnared in a controversy that transcends her sporting achievements. Whispers and speculations began to surface regarding her gender, thus casting a dark shadow over her journey. In an age where gender identity and sports eligibility remain contentious issues, Khelif's participation became a focal point of debate. The controversy began after Khelif faced Italian Angela Carini, who withdrew in 46 seconds, citing that a punch from Khelif had hurt her too much to continue. An anonymous source then leaked documents suggesting that Khelif had undergone gender verification tests, a standard procedure for many female athletes, but particularly scrutinized in her case. The results indicated elevated levels of testosterone, a condition found in males. This prompted questions about her eligibility to compete in the women's category. Critics argued that these hormonal levels could confer an unfair advantage, reigniting the long-standing debate about gender and competitive fairness in sports. The controversy reached a fever pitch as governing bodies and officials grappled with the delicate and highly personal nature of the allegations. The International Olympic Committee, or the IOC, and the International Boxing Association, or the IBA, found themselves at the center of this gender-row storm, with calls for Khelif to be disqualified. The issue polarized the sporting community and the public. While some advocated for her removal from the competition to preserve fairness, others argued for her right to compete as she is biologically female. This was followed by the expert advice from medical experts. They explained that elevated testosterone levels could be natural or the result of an underlying medical condition, so this should not automatically disqualify an athlete. Despite the mounting pressure and the intense scrutiny, Khelif stood resolute. In a heartfelt statement, she expressed her dismay at the controversy. She said, and I quote, "I have always been true to myself and my sport. This is not just about a medal, it's about dignity and respect." As Khelif advances to the final round, her quest for the gold medal transcends the mere pursuit of athletic glory. It has become a fight for recognition, equality, and respect. The boxing ring, which was once just a place of competition, is now a stage where she battles not only her opponents, but the prejudices and misconceptions that have sought to undermine her journey.
We will defend you until the end for this harassment that you have experienced, which is a shame.
It is a real success, a real pride for Algerian women. This fight, this victory, she did not win, she snatched it. She will bring us the gold medal.
We are proud of her. It's a good response for people who doubted her. It's a good response. Algeria should not be provoked. That's it.
As she steps into the ring for her final bout, the world watches with bated breath. Khelif's fight for gold is a fight for all those who have been marginalized, misunderstood, and unfairly judged. In the end, whether she clinches the gold or not, Imane Khelif has already emerged victorious, etching her name into the annals of Olympic history as a symbol of resilience and a catalyst for change.
And that's it on the show for today. We will see you again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you for watching and goodbye.